Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. Here with some last minute thoughts on a fight taking place in Russia that I think we all need to know about. It's Ruslan Provodnikov. Remember that name, and he's fighting DeMarcus Corley. Now remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. You know, Derek Chisora got jobbed when he fought Robert Helenius. We're now hearing the usual excuses, right? Helenius supposedly had a hurt hand and yada, 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 right? We should all overlook the CompuBox numbers because the CompuBox numbers aren't conclusive, yada, yada, yada. Well, unfortunately, in my opinion, Ruslan Provodnikov suffered a similar fate when he fought Mauricio Herrera on Friday night boxing here in the United States. Teddy Atlas, who is the trainer for Alexander Povetkin, Teddy Atlas actually scored the fight 116-112 for Provodnikov. I admit I wasn't scoring the fight. I was just being a casual fan watching a boxing telecast. But I thought it was clear that Provodnikov, who is a power puncher, right, he doesn't necessarily throw a lot of volume. What he throws are a lot of hooks. And the hooks do damage. And he does it out of an orthodox stance. But he knows how to move his head, come in with power shots, avoid getting heavily hit himself. I thought it was clear just from looking at the fighters that Provodnikov had closed Herrera's eyes, had banged him up, had beaten him up, and had won the fight by several rounds. Right? Atlas had him winning by 4 rounds, 116-112. Significantly, Atlas had him winning the last 2 rounds, as did I. I thought Herrera was completely outgunned. But of course, this is boxing. And incredibly, the judges thought otherwise. I don't know what Herrera has going with the judges. I must be missing part of his game because I also saw him lose to Mike Dallas in a fight that was equally ridiculous. Well, unfortunately, the judges ruled against Provodnikov, and that is the only reason that Provodnikov has a loss on his record. Keep in mind, this is a fight where a heavyweight champion's trainer doing colored commentary had Provodnikov winning the fight by 4 rounds. Right? Just food for thought. And so, in my opinion, you really need to consider Provodnikov as having won that Herrera fight and as having been unbeaten. Right? He has too much power, in my opinion, for DeMarcus Corley. Now, Corley, a southpaw, is a very wily vet, right? You can imagine since Provodnikov is a search and destroy type fighter, comes in, has some movement, but is hitting you with hooks, trying to take you out, has a better than 60% KO ratio. You can imagine that a guy like Corley is going to know exactly where Provodnikov is at all times in the ring. After all, Corley has fought the best. He's fought Floyd Mayweather in 2010. He fought Marcus Maidana, and keep in mind, in a fight in Argentina, somehow Corley was able to go the distance with Marcus Maidana. And who's more search and destroy than Marcus Maidana, right? But if you look under the hood with Corley, you're going to see that Corley last won a fight in September of 2009. Not only that, Corley has fought some other guys. He fought Lucas Mathis and seemed to have a love affair with the canvas in that fight. He went down several times in that fight before being stopped in the 8th round. He also went down in his last fight against Thomas Delorme. Now, let me just say this. Obviously, DeMarcus Corley fights the very best. The problem is, while Corley puts up a good fight, he doesn't put up a good enough fight. And here, he's fighting Provodnikov in Provodnikov's backyard. I like Provodnikov big in this fight. I think this young man, quite frankly, is one of the better prospects I've seen. He, not only throws with power, but he's able to do it the entire fight. And he's not deterred by a swollen eye or injuries and things like that. He has that young drive that only a young fighter has. He is a young lion. I think he takes apart DeMarcus Corley. I'm curious to see how the fight goes, simply because Corley was able to go the distance with Delorme. He was able to go the distance with Maidana. He's a good litmus test to see how a young guy is. In fact, for old timers, if you look up Corley against Miguel Cotto, you're going to see in that fight, which was a stoppage by Cotto, I thought a premature stoppage. You're going to see in that fight, Cotto was in severe difficulty in that match because Corley is a master at dodging punches and hitting you with flush counters. So while Corley's a technician, unfortunately, he's on the downside of his career. I don't think he's going to be able to slow down Provodnikov. If Provodnikov gets the KO, you'll know that Provodnikov has elite power and can blow out a technician. I like Provodnikov in this one. Just for boxing handicappers all over the world, I think this is the kind of young, up-and-coming lion that we all need to know about as he makes his way through the ranks and establishes himself. Let me know what you think. The fight's going off in a few hours in Russia. I encourage everyone to take a look at it. The weigh-in has already happened. I can see this video is last minute. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments for me here on YouTube. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. Thanks for watching.